The James Harden saga 3. Chapter 3. Day 3. Day 3 of James Harden going off the deep end. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
James Harden has expressed a desire to play a season in China. Oh, and I mean, I know it's Keith Pompey, but this is entertaining as hell. James, is quoted as saying, "Every time I come here, the love is just like, it's crazy." You know what I mean? So I feel like they deserve to actually see me come play here. The love is always crazy here. Okay. The first thing we need to talk about is, does James Harden understand why they love him in China? China only started to love the NBA because of Yao Ming. Then they loved the Houston Rockets because of Yao Ming. And then James Harden was the next superstar of the Houston Rockets, so they love James Harden. They have no idea what's going on in the NBA. They have no idea that James Harden is 34 years old. Like I said, I think they think it's 2016 because they're not allowed on the internet. Some people got political in the comments or whatever. You guys can't take a joke to save your fucking life. James, they love you because they don't know anything else about NBA basketball. James Harden goes over there. Chinese fans freak out. They're wearing his Houston Rockets jersey. And he's soaking it all up. He loves the attention. He loves the attention so much because that's what he is. He's a sociopath. He's an attention whore. He loves the attention so much. He's no longer getting that attention in the NBA because he's no longer a superstar. So he goes over to China and he gets treated like that. And it actually goes to his head and he says, they deserve to watch me play because the love is so incredible here. So now I'm like, what would James Harden playing in China look like? Here's what they should do in China. Here's what the Chinese basketball league should do. Because let's be honest, nobody's watching that shit. Here's what they should do. If James, from a business perspective, if James Harden is willing to go play a season in China, the Chinese league should rig the whole thing. They should give James Harden every single foul call he wants. They should even give him foul calls when he's not being fouled. They should let him shoot 45 free throws a game and have him set every record that's ever been set in the history of basketball in the Chinese league. He'll average 50 points a game, most of it from the free throw line. If he gets fouled, does a somersault out of bounds and then lays there on the court as the other team's running a 4-on-5. There should be a stoppage of play to allow James Harden to get back into the play before they continue. As a league, they should do everything they possibly can to make James Harden the superstar in that league that the Chinese fans still think that he is and that he still thinks that he is. Just from a business perspective, that's what I think they should do. Also, James, if you want to go to China, please feel free. End the situation right now. I think it will be hilarious. Chinese fans, screaming and yelling and freaking out like they're watching a superstar and watching James Harden burn out in the playoffs, or I don't know, not even show up or just jog around. I don't know. The second thing is, could this actually happen? Well, there's a clause in the CBA that says if James Harden doesn't show up to training camp, the Sixers could nullify that entire season and could prevent him from becoming a free agent the next season or prevent him from signing with another team because he didn't honor the last year of his contract. That does not include going to China. So maybe James is looking at, I mean, he's not stupid. He's a smart man, and he has a team around him. Maybe he's looking at it like, listen, if Daryl would pull that card and not let me become a free agent, I could go to China and play basketball for a year, get treated like a superstar, and then come back to the NBA. Maybe that's what he's thinking. I have no idea. But I do know this. This is absolutely fucking insane. And now we have this guy, Danny Green, host of the Green Room podcast. I don't know if he still does that podcast. That was a podcast that was forced upon us after Sixers games by NBC Sports Philly. If you accidentally left the game on, you would see Danny Green giving his opinion on things. Nobody cares what Danny Green has to say about anything. But here's what he said about James Harden and the situation on NBA Today. And shout out to ESPN for, putting him on here, driving ratings, making it interesting, I guess. Here you go.
There's not many things that shock me in this world, but to see a star player like James Harden call out by name Daryl Morey and speak it from his own, his own mouth. Usually you hear from sources, but to him speak it, you can tell he's agitated, he's upset. And
I agree with that. I've never seen a player. I've never heard a player do what James Harden just did.
It was shocking. I was very shocked by it. But I do see both sides. As a player, I'm always going to side with the player.
As a player, I'm always going to side with the player. So as a player, I don't really care what the details are, what the context is, what happens. I'm not going to take an unbiased approach to a situation. I'm not going to look at actually both sides and decide who was right and wrong. I'm just going to side with the player because I was a player. So there you go. My opinion is null and void because I'm just going to side with the player. So that doesn't make any sense.
Not just because I'm a player, but I also don't think he's wrong. If he was promised something, I think you need to come through with. Don't think he's wrong. If he was promised something, I think you need to come through with that promise. But I see the other side of it with Daryl Morey. I understand it's a business.
Okay. All right, let's just listen to the whole clip and then I'll say what I want.
Daryl Morey, I understand it's a business. As a player, I'm always going to side with the player, not just because I'm a player, but I also don't think he's wrong. If he was promised something, I think you need to come through with that promise. But I see the other side of it.
That's just not how contracts work. You don't make behind closed doors promises. They're both wrong.
With Daryl Morey, I understand it's a business. And GMs, they make a lot of decisions quickly. In the heat of the moment, and your mind is going to change, your emotions are going to change in different times, and maybe
he's not going to say it. He's not going to say it. The opinion changed. Everything changed when James Harden fell off a cliff in the playoffs. He got booed in the playoffs by Philly fans 2 years in a row. Daryl Morey could not give him a 4-year contract. Danny Green's not going to say that.
His hands are tied at this. Maybe he's not able to offer James the extension that he wants. So I understand Daryl. I understand James. Do I think this can be something that can be amended? Probably not. But Daryl is going to have to meet him at least halfway to try to bring him into camp. I also don't see James as a guy that's going to come into camp.
He's going to meet him. He's going to have to meet him halfway to bring him into camp. Meet him halfway. What does that mean? Give him half the money? What does that? What does that mean at all?
And dog it. He's either not going to play, or when he does play, and dog it. He don't see James as a guy that's going to come into camp. And dog it.
He's done it before. What are you talking about, Danny Green? He's done it before.
Camp. And dog it. He's either not going to play, or when he does play, I see him being the professional that he is and giving his best. But I don't see him doing that. I think he's.
This guy has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. He can't even refer to what James Harden did in Houston, where he showed up and dogged it. And also, it's Danny Green, bro. This is the same guy that said we should be nicer to Ben Simmons. This is the same guy that said Philly fans should not boo Ben Simmons. And I said, as soon as he said that, you're going to get booed. Danny Green got booed during introductions for the rest of the season because of that. Philly fans don't forget, Danny Green. And Philly fans don't like when you say shit like, you guys should be nicer to this grown-ass baby who won't shoot a basketball. Fuck you, Danny Green. Now, the last thing I want to say today is at what point does the NBA step in and get involved in this situation? I don't remember having these issues in the NBA under David Stern. Adam Silver just sits back and lets everything happen. Now you have a player calling out a GM, publicly calling him a liar, saying he's not playing for him, he's not coming to camp. You got Damian Lillard requesting a trade, saying, I only want to go to Miami. You got Portland saying, we're not sending you to Miami for that offer. The NBA is a circus right now, and David Stern just sits back and lets it happen. The NBA is broken. You got to get back to the late 90s, early 2000s, when there was great players on teams who stayed there. They didn't bail and leave. They didn't request a trade every 2 years. They wanted to win. There was a competitive nature. Jordan got his ass kicked by the Pistons four years in a row. Came right back in a Bulls uniform. LeBron got beat by the Celtics year 7 of the Cavs. I mean, he didn't have the luxury of having a Scottie Pippen, so he bailed. But at least he waited till he was a free agent, right? This new era of basketball is terrible for the product. At what point does does Adam Silver step in? Or how does Adam Silver get fired? Can the owners come together and fire Adam Silver? Can the owners come together and say this is not what we want when we're owning one of these franchises? I don't get it. I don't know. But at what point does the league step in and do something about what's going on? Because this is crazy. Give me all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. We out.